How do you view tomorrow against Colorado? How would you set that game up?
We've played them already. Obviously played them opening night, and with real similar roster. You know, they didn't get into their injury trouble till after, right? If you look at it, other than the captain, I think it's pretty much the same team as we played first night. So do some work off that and play.
Does the significance seem any different when that's a team that you're now pretty close with in the standings?
They're the defending Stanley Cup champions, and they still got 40 games left, or whatever it is. So you start the year with 164 points. They'll still, I would bet on Colorado making the playoffs, and I'd bet on them being one of the three in their division.
We know we've asked Jonathan Huberdeau about his shooting at different points in the year, and he's told us that he knows he needs to shoot. What do you do when you have a player who knows he has that talent to shoot but doesn't shoot enough, and what do you do to try to get him to just shoot more?
Just what we're doing right now. Tell him to shoot. I mean, his career has shown it, right? There's a reason he had career years where he's put up. He's not a big goal scorer, so that's not a big thing, right? The thing is, you take all last year, then all those guys that had career years last year, there's lots of guys that we're familiar with. So if you take that career year out, then you do their actual average. If they're a veteran, meaning a guy who's played 5 to 10 years, whether he's a forward or defenseman, then that's their number they should be hitting. So that number goes right across the board. It should say games played, goals, assists, points, plus minus, shots, time on even strength, time on ice. If you do it, just do it right across the board, then you can get a good read on that player.
How important, you mentioned he's he's been a playmaker in his career, but how important is the shooting threat for Jonathan to set up those assists? Like how?
Well, you're not going to have very many points, whether goals or assists, if you don't shoot. That's the way it works, because you can defend guys who, hey, he ain't ever going to shoot, just take his receivers away. I mean, there's players in the league like that. The game's changed. You have to play a very, very, very It's not about the points at the end, it's about how you're playing. The game's about motion. And the faster you go, the better the game is, the better you are, and the better the team is. So you have to make those adjustments as a player.
What have you seen out of Jacob Peltier since he's gotten recalled?
I like Jacob. Yeah, I think that that's a box, right? That's a Mange, Dylan, that sort of box, right? So, so that's what it is. I like him. It's on record, and I've said it. He said it too. After he didn't have a very good training camp, we played him a couple of games, and that's what he deserved, or one game, I think. He didn't have a very good training camp, so then he went down, and he didn't have a very good start. But then and that was evident too. I watched, and I pulled for the young fella. So, but then his game really picked up and took off, and he was a really important player there, and that's part of the development. You bring him up, so I could tell these guys, you bring them up on trips, and then they have to watch how guys, before you can play in the NHL, or before you can be successful in the NHL, you have to be around those guys, see what it's like, see how they pick somebody out and prepare like him and work like him and practice, and don't think you're him or don't think you're him. I'll tell you who I think you're like, and go from there. And it's, good, really, the thing with Pelch, it's always going to be his size, right? So, as he gets a little stronger and gets a little more weight, then he's going to have a better opportunity. That's what happened with him. He can still do that. He's only 21. Where when you do comparisons to other players in the organization, they may be maxed out there, but this boy is not, and he's got an energy for it and a passion for it and a work ethic for it, and he's a good kid.
When you when you chat with, or sorry, when we chat with Mitch Love about him or anyone, that sort of energy and enthusiasm and passion always seems to come up. So could you kind of see that as he tried to soak up what you were asking him to on the road?
Yeah, he's excited to be here. And at the end of the day, I want to get him in, but you know what? We're not 10 up and we're not 10 out. So that's the way it works.
Darryl, how similar or different are the challenges that Roman Josi and Kel McCarr present?
Meaning,
The type of player they are and how difficult it is to maybe defend them or kill plays when they've got it?
yeah, I think they're different type players. So, I mean, that Central Division is loaded with top-end defensemen, so it's not just, you got to watch those players play, and then you can make your own, what you think.
We don't often see a team come in after this long of a road trip. What did you have the guys do today?
We just came in, we did some treatments, and guys who didn't play skated, and the goalie who didn't play last night did a little bit of work, and everybody else does some activation work.
Where do you just overall see your power play right now and how it's trending?
Yeah, I think we do it. So this morning the coaches work on breaking the trip out, right? So we can give the players some feedback on how they did individually during the trip, and then into lines, pairs, power play, penalty kill, a lot of different things, face-off situations, things like that. So if you just look at the trip, you could say we scored 4 goals, and we had parts of those games where we didn't score, which would include last night where we had basically played the whole shift in the O zone, and so then you need to get a result there, right? So you can say you scored 4 goals in 5 games, but you could also say that 2 of those games, one being last night and one being overtime in St. Louis, that if the power play red light, win, or get 1 more point.
You often talk about Brett Ritchie as a guy that maximizes his skill set to the extreme. Do you kind of view Walker Duehr that way as well? Just a guy that's on the 4th line and knows his role and excels at it without trying to do too much?
I thought he was good in the first couple of games, and it was like when we called Zahorna up, they were good early, and then as it went along, then the excitement wears off. But you want to be a good pro, the excitement doesn't wear off, it gets higher. So in terms of comparing him to Brett Ritchie, that's not there yet.